Oh, dude, I think we went.
This guy right here is Brewing Solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. Get you some right now, car guys and car gals. Let's brew.
Hey, people.
What's happening? We are excited to be brewing solutions with each and every one of you. Do us a favor. If you see this live on any of our channels, help us out. Tag a car guy, tag a car gal, and let's get to brewing some solutions. We're going to be counting it down. Here we go. What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And it's Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we are excited to be brewing solutions with you on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. And we can't wait to get what's brewing over here with our incredible friend.
You guys get ready.
Welcome to the show once
Let's
again.
go.
Make sure that you tag a car guy and tag a car gal and share. Get this shared around, everybody, because we have, again, another one that is crossing borders to make sure that we do brew solutions and make sure that this entire industry is upshifted and uplifted by positive products and positive energy. Ain't that right?
Always, man. And this energy that we're going to be bringing today with our brother, the one, the only, and we'll bring him up here in a moment, man. This guy, literally in his name, he is making sure that he's defending, right? Talking about armorer, right? And I love that name. It just, to me, it just sounds so noble, right? When I first met him, not only was he noble, he was dressed, he was decked out. I love the suit he was wearing, but his energy, dude, he was all over the place, popping off like he just had a brew of Car Guy coffee.
That's right.
And I already knew that this guy was the type of person that we're going to have on the show, not just have on the show, but somebody that we're going to become friends with, somebody that we're going to be able to unite with and bring our powers together so we can make this business, this industry, this world, and the people in it better than they were yesterday. And man, does he do it. He does it with class. He does it with energy. He does it having fun. He's the kind of guy that you can do business with in the day and you can party with at night. In both ways, you're going to find that he is amazing and a lot of fun. The energy is high. The energy is everything. Let's brew today, man.
Definitely. From the beginning of this show, we're going to go ahead and announce that he is 100% CGC approved.
You already know that.
Brewing solutions and hyper on that energy, and that's what we're all about. But it's not fluff, folks. This is real stuff, and he is excited about life, excited about doing things and challenging himself to go to the next level, as each and every one of you solutionaries should be too. So without further ado, without more yak attack from Fred and Lou, we are going to go ahead and bring on Mr. The One, the only Shawn Armorer. There he is. Salute.
What's going on?
Welcome to the Casa, the cafe. Let's brew today, man.
That is quite the introduction, boys.
Well, man,
you deserve more.
We had to make sure that we brought the energy with it, because I know you're going to bring a lot of energy, man. Everything that I've seen you do, everyone that I've seen you touch, they are all blessed by your energy, man. And I think that's what it is. Energy is contagious. Like, just like a smile, and when you come in with it, it brings the room up. And when a room is down and the Shawn walks in, right? The Shawn walks in and he brings that energy. That room is a different place. When you leave that room, that energy it stays there, and those people are going to be benefited by what you bring. So I'm excited to have you on the show. All our viewers right now, be blessed. Share this around. Car guys, car gals, make sure that everybody knows what's getting ready to happen. If you don't see this live, it's okay. This is going to be on a replay, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, come on now, give us a like on this one, because you're going to be ready to hear some fire today. We're going to bring you guys a 5-liner with somebody that we consider a superhero out there. And he's up there above the border, right? He's up there at the north side. North side, eh? And this guy, man, killing it, but he brings whatever he does. It's universal. It's not just up there that he brings the energy. He brings it here in the United States. That's where we met him. He brings it across the world, because what he does is special, and what he can teach is a blessing. So, hey, man, let's go. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely amazing, man. On fire. I woke up today. We're blessed to have another day. We get, two things every morning, a chance to do it again, and just a chance to be better than we were yesterday. So blessed to be here with you guys, and you guys are fire. And I knew when I met you, this had to happen.
Okay, we knew the same, actually, that it was definitely mutual. It was love at first sight. That energy just drew us
following you guys around the NADA, like, oh, there they are again.
I feel like we were following you everywhere we went. There was another, we're handing off a mic, or we're grabbing a mic, whatever the case was. All the love was everywhere. And yes, at NADA, it was definitely a workout in logistics, a workout in physical fitness, right? Being able to walk from place to place to place. It was fun,
but it was live.
You were bringing the energy. It was definitely live.
You look like you were ready to go. I know you were excited
every time. Big smile.
It was fun, man. And I think that we all can agree that NADA was just an energy fest, right? And I think that we all felt it. We left there probably extremely exhausted, needing a week off. But you know what? Because we learned so much, we came out and we went even harder. I think that we all stretched out, because we knew that the future of this business is in good hands when we have people like us, people like you, people like so many out there's the Glenn Lundys, I can keep listing people's names off, but the fact of the matter is that we have Shawn Armorer on the show today, the BDC Alchemist, and I think that we're ready to learn some stuff, learn more about you, hear your history. But before we do anything, Lou, we always drop the F-bombs, right?
First things first is always to make sure that we drop these F-bombs on everybody, and make sure that we do forgive, focus, and we fly, so that we can keep growing.
Amen.
And that is a message we want to make sure permeates this entire industry. And now we are making sure to once again cross borders with the message and forgive, focus, fly with our incredible friend Shawn Armorer. So let's get ready to rock this forgive, focus, fly out on 3. Car guys and car gals, join us. 1, 2, 3. Forgive,
focus, and fly, and keep growing.
There we go. Now we are ready for the show.
We are ready for the show. We're ready for this 5-liner, man. And this 5-liner is going to be hot today, my friends. And we're going to just keep growing, and we're going to keep moving right now as we're brewing solutions with us on the Car Guy Coffee podcast today with Shawn Armorer. Oh, brother, the first question, it's an important question. Simon Sinek says it all starts with the why. Yes, and I believe that 100%. That's why we start our show with that. So tell us, what is your why? What is your drive? What is your purpose? What makes you get up every single day and bring that energy?
I aspire to inspire until I expire. Just wanted to start it off with that. That's not that. So it's just, that's basically it. I'm here to really inspire. Been in the industry now going on 21 years.
That's right.
18 years under the rooftop. So I really studied my craft before really stepping out and going on my own and taking the responsibility of the message that we're all trying to do, you know, because there's a lot of synergies between what you guys do and what I do, you know what I mean? So a lot of it comes from, it's a little mix between my spirituality and doing it for myself. I just felt, you know, that, you know, there was another way to do this, you know, there's another way to treat people, you know, and you know, we were talking about Simon Sinek, huge Simon Sinek fan, read all his books. I follow him tremendously. So I quote a lot of his stuff, but it's part of my recalibration process of recalibrating my thought process. And, you know, one of the things I'd like to start off by saying is that, you know, he says it, we are not responsible for the results. We are responsible for the people responsible for the results.
Oh, I love that, man.
Right. And I had a lot of success over here in Canada, building BDCs. I've been doing it for Canada's largest dealer groups now for prior to going out and starting my own business. I was doing it for about 17 years. And then I just felt I had a lot more to offer to this industry that has given me back so much. So yeah, I started a consulting business, and I met you guys, and I'm very active down in the States. I have a lot of clients, and
yes, you do.
Been building BDCs, recalibrating BDCs, realigning them, just reaching out to the people and making them know that, you know, it's very important that people know that they are not the risk, they are the investment.
Hey.
Right. And it's important that people understand that, because oftentimes what happens with the BDC is it's this mystical department somewhere in the dealership, you know, in the storage room next to the mops or the boxes of work orders, and people are coming in and out of the room. We don't even know who they are, and we often mistake them for customers. Like, hey, sir, can I help you? I'm like, I'm Shawn. I'm actually the BDC manager. I work here, right?
Yeah, I set your appointments for you.
yeah, exactly, right. So I'm on a mission right now. So my why is really to bring out the message and to really inspire people, to let them know, like, look, I was a BDC agent too. I started off in this business washing cars, you know, and in my ascent, 20 years ago, I was literally washing cars. So, and I really did every level in my ascent. You know, I washed cars, I did the appointments, I was the shuttle driver, I emptied the garbages, I took appointments, I did the reception. When I was an advisor, I was a service manager, and then I started building BDCs. So what happened later on is that I just amalgamated. I understand everybody's reality, and I try to be the conduit of information between these silos that we've built in this industry for the longest time.
Wow, man. And, you know, and it's amazing because your story, your testimony is something that people need to hear. And I believe that's what our five liners really are. They're testimonies, right? And they're testimonies and proof of the faith in this business, that if you get behind it, and you can do anything. You can start by cleaning cars, you can start by, you know, turning wrenches, but doesn't mean that's all you have to do.
Correct.
You know, but you learn a great skill set, you get to meet great people, and you get to help folks along the way and get paid pretty well if you work really hard. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And, you know, and a lot of times you can be paid really well and you just have to work halfway hard. But that's not even the point. The point is that when you go and you try to exceed in this business, there's opportunities. Doesn't matter where you're from, what you do, how you look. It's just about doing the right thing and being optimistic about it as you grow, but also understanding that there is opportunities and going for them and meeting the right people. You know, Lou and I got into this business for certain reasons. I know that the reason why I got in this business was by pure chance, meeting somebody that was in this industry. Lou got in this business because
it was my last order in the military.
Literally, like somebody that he looked up to, an NCO, the base command first sergeant, was like, hey, you should go check out this dealership. My daughter works there. So it's by chance. So Lou, tossing it up to you, my friend.
Appreciate that. I mean, there's so many bars that got dropped by Shawn just inside of that one answer of one question inside of this five liner. And that's exactly why it is that we have him here on the show. Everybody, those that are listening on the podcast live or the replay, understand that we definitely appreciate some great products, and we appreciate great practices, and we appreciate great word tracks and great skill sets. But more than we appreciate and understand those things, because all of those things can be taught, all of those things can be learned, if you want to apply the disciplines to it. What we appreciate most is understanding the testimonies of the people. And I love that Fred brought that inside of understanding that it's your victories and your lessons inside of defeat that we most want to brew out of you. Sometimes it feels like you're sitting on the hot seat, and we all know what it's like to sit in a hot seat from time to time. But it's important that we get on that hot seat to be able to pull out what's best inside of us, right?
Amen.
Burn away what's irrelevant, and cook out what we really want to use and what we really want to sip on, right? And so as we do that, and cheers to you, brother. Again, thank you so much for a great answer to the why. But let's follow this journey a little bit more. Let's go on the journey more on how inside of the BDC world. I mean, you said you started off washing cars. What brought you to washing cars? Ultimately, what is it that brought Shawn, the BDC alchemist, to the auto industry?
Great question. Just kind of rough childhood, I guess you could say, just pinballing off awful, eventually ended up to wonderful. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was just a victim of my circumstance with regards to, how we came up. I was raised in a divorced family. So my mom, alone, supporting the entire family. I had 3 boys. I'm in the middle. So as I was really, I came up through like a, hey, listen, fend for yourself because, I got to keep this house. Right. So I kind of I did everything from cutting grass to cutting trees I just basically did everything. I was working at Minolta as a photocopier repair guy. And at one point I got a job for the summer. It was the summer of 2003. I'll never forget it. I was working for Echo. I don't know if you guys remember that. Mark Echo with the rhinoceros.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah. So
graffiti artist that does, like, he did a lot of things. He's a beast.
Correct. Right. Yeah, exactly. So I worked for them for about 3 months, and it was in the marketing, and I really excelled at it. And I was like, oh man, I think I found what I wanted to do. So went to school, graduated in marketing, came out, graduated actually in fashion marketing. Funny enough, I love clothes. And
guess that.
No,
which explains, the ensemble, as we call it here in Canada, right? And so coming out of university, I couldn't find work in my field. And I was living on my own, so I had to pay some bills. So my little brother at the time was working at one of the oldest dealer groups that we have here. Actually turned 100 this year. And I said, listen, dude, I'll take any job. Like, I just need to pay the bills. It's not who I am. It's my circumstance. Right. Yeah. So through work ethic, hard work, just get my foot in the door and I'll just work my way up. Right. So he said, listen, the only thing I could get you, the only thing they're looking for right now is a car washer. I said, I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm going to be the best damn washer they've ever seen, though. So I ended up getting an interview. Funny story. I actually showed up in a suit and tie. And the service manager looked at me. He was kind of laughing. He's like, you do realize it's for a washer job, right?
And you're dressing better than my guys out front, right?
But it was important that I set the bar.
Heck yeah.
Right? In order to be successful, one must portray an image of success. People saw me as a washer, but I didn't have a washer mentality.
Say that,
man.
Come on.
Like this, Frederick, you were talking about the opportunities before. Car washing was the opportunity.
Amen. It was.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I didn't see myself as a washer. I'm like, look, this is what I got to do. I'll learn my craft and I'll work my way up. And one thing became another. I kept getting promoted. I ended up being there for 7-8 years. And then right before leaving, because I gave my 2-week notice, I was like, okay, we're good. I'm going to go out into my field of work. They said, wait. We have this department across the street. It's called the BDC. And we're not really sure what it is. This is back in the day, when we didn't have CRMs. Right. And they said, listen, we brought back this concept from the NADA. It's called a BDC. We're not really sure what it is or what it does, but you've been part of the fabric of this organization for like the last 7-8 years. Before you leave, just commit 4 months, see what, grab it. There's some people in there doing some calls, just see what it could be. And then, in 4 months, if you're not happy, then you're leaving anyway. So just give us 4 months. I said, okay, cool. So I jumped into the BDC and I quickly came to the realization that, wait a minute, this is like an amalgamation of absolutely all the departments in one. We have work orders, there's customers, there's CSI, there's customer service, there's calling to make appointments, there's internet leads, there's et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, this is really cool. Like no 2 days are the same.
Yep.
So it really piqued my curiosity, and we went after 3 months. We went all out, and then that was my first BDC build, and I never looked back. I've been building them ever since.
Wow, that's what a story. And I love how you're highlighting it and bringing us back to where everybody was like, yeah, we need this BDC. What is it? And everybody is stuck saying, yeah, we got to have it. Great idea.
Yeah, well, and that's the funny thing with BDC, and that's really what I'm here to really just tell people. Like, listen, first of all, my success in BDC has come at the people that were in my care. I gotta say that first, because I know, in my intro, yes, okay, I have BDC revenues in excess of 40 million because of all the BDCs that I've built, but I could not have done that without the fantastic, amazing BDC agents that believed in me and believed in my vision.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, we didn't know what it was. And like a leader, I told them, just trust me, guys. I will be the first one to walk through the fire and then just follow me through. But I'm going to be there first. Just believe in me. So all of my success, yes, comes at hard work, but I'm not going to sit here and say that, my just meeting you guys, what got me to Vegas, what got me to Tampa, what got me to, I was recently in Trinidad and Tobago. I did my first ever speech in Trinidad and Tobago. So what got me here is the amazing people that believed in me, just like I believed in them. So it's about people, always about people, regardless of the department, whether it's BDC, sales, service advisor, the technicians. I mean, nobody talks about porters. Nobody talks about the washers, So what I do is when I go into a BDC and when I'm building, it's about surgically dialing into the BDC. And what happens is that the BDC is like an incubator, right? It's like a data science place. Like everything comes into the BDC and everything comes out of it. So you're sitting on mountains of data. You're sitting on mountains of customer concerns, if you will, or what's working, what's not working. It's data. So then when I created my company, that's where, manage the data and coach the people came from. Don't use data to discipline people. Use the data for people development. Like, let's develop these people. I don't understand what's going on. Why are we disciplining people? They're looking at us. Their only job is to show up in the morning.
Come on.
That's what they're doing. Our job is to make sure that we create an environment of safety. We need to create a culture-based ecosystem where, we don't, when you prohibit failure, you kill innovation.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so crazy. And you cultivate fear, right?
Correct.
I mean, completely. You become prisoners to the fear. I love how you explain that, because it's a culture shift. It's a mindset adjustment. So many times management, right? Whether as a manager for a long time, freshly promoted managers, right? We tend to find ourselves trying to apply disciplines to try to achieve something when ultimately the discipline isn't able to be attained because the example isn't there.
Correct.
Right? So many times they're like, we're trying to keep you accountable for these numbers. Cool. You didn't show me how to do this.
Exactly. Which is a perfect segue. So we were talking about Simon Sinek, just to show you, like, I've read all of his books over and over. Simon Sinek, managers do things right. Leaders do the right things.
Oof.
And I had to read that over and over and over. And that's really what really started my leadership career, because listen, we need managers. And I'm not harping on managers. It's very important, managers. But let's just look at the state of the automotive industry right now. Right? For far too long, what have we seen? And I'll be the first one to say it. And I stand by what I say. What have we seen over the last 30, 40 years? We've seen ethical fading, cognitive dissonance. It's almost like the moral compass was just going around. It was all about profits. It was all about profits. It wasn't about people. So then what happens? The major stress test, first time ever in history. What happens? Boom, a pandemic hits. What happens? Absolute chaos and pandemonium. Yeah, exactly. Whereas if we had systems in place and if we had our people that were working for us, like if we trusted our people, if we invested in our people, those are the people that are going to get us out of this. I mean, think about it for a second.
I love that.
Whenever in history, the pandemic taught us what? A bunch of things. But the most important thing that it taught us over at the service department, outside of hospitals, food places, grocery stores, corner stores, what have you, we had the service. So service during a pandemic for the first time in history was deemed an essential service. It's an essential service. It's just not a place that you just bring your car and fix it. It's an essential service. So now what kind of a responsibility do we have towards our communities to step up and level up and actually, change this thought process that we have?
Yeah.
Come on.
Dude, freaking amazing stuff. I mean, folks, did I not tell you that he was going to bring fire today? Listen, just think about that. What did we learn? What did we not learn? What were we not prepared for? And are we going to be prepared the next time? I love how you talked about the first major stress test, right? Stress test. And stress tests are so important to figure out if your foundation is strong, right?
Correct.
Lou and I, one of our first shows ever was all about foundation. That's all we talked about, because we believe that without a proper foundation, great processes, people, which you said so many times in that, I'm going to tell you, if you guys are not hearing that, how important people are in the right places with the right processes, man, you have to understand that the people is where the foundation is. Working with them, understanding them, appreciating them, loving on them, growing with them. And here's to the point, and we have a lot of people who chimed in so far today, but I want to throw some hellos.
Welcome to the party, everybody.
Melissa, hello, my friend. I love you. We have somebody all the way from Trinidad.
Yeah, Shanice. I met her in Trinidad. Hello,
I had a
Shanice.
feeling that's what the case was, man, because I know you were just
I'm bringing the world to you guys, man. I'm bringing the world.
That's right. You were down there having fun and just making. See, that's what I mean. He was there giving a presence of just love while he was there too. We got Melvin saying, hello, let's brew. We got a Facebook user, not sure who this is. It was great working with you in the BDC, but we do have Johnny. And Johnny says, and I wanted to read this out because what you're speaking is exactly what he's saying. I worked with Shawn, and just before he was my BDC director, I was ready to quit. He literally was ready to quit. Shawn sat me down and said, trust me. Fast forward he said, trust me. And he said, okay. Yep. 5 years later, fast forward 5 years later, I'm a BDC team leader at another dealership. Way to go, Johnny. But most importantly, way to actually listen, man. Because a lot of times people, that's deaf ears. And we can lead a horse to water as much as we want, but you have to trust us. And, one thing, big applause to you, my friend, for bringing that type of energy. He obviously felt your energy. And this is before you were even the director.
Correct.
He sat down with you and he was like, you said, trust me. Trust me. And look where he's at. And look where he's going. That's a fantastic story, man. Shawn, way to go, brother.
And you know what? We have to be accountable also. Like, I don't want to just, so as BDC managers, any BDC manager out there looking, Johnny, who's there, Johnny, what's going on? He was, by the way, one of my best BDC soldiers, I should say. I hate saying a BDC agent, but one of the best BDC soldiers I've ever had. But one of the things that's super important is accountability.
Amen.
It's
the most important.
It's the most important thing, especially as a BDC manager, because when I was young and I wanted it and I wanted more and I actually got more, I completely screwed it up. Mm-hmm. Right. I just, my vision was not the right thing. I got into that perpetual, it's about, revenue and it's about profits and what have you, without really relying on the people. So I have actually failed my way to success. I've made a ton of mistakes and I still make mistakes every single day. But it's about, acknowledging those mistakes, using your emotional intelligence, looking at it and, okay, how can I make this better? Mm-hmm. Because one thing I want to say is this. Right now, what I'm seeing, especially with the dealers that I'm onboarding right now, great people, but doing just enough is not enough. Mm-hmm. And what I'm trying to explain to them, and the message I'm trying to put is, when we're talking about people, the growth that we seek is currently found in the areas being mismanaged. Mm-hmm. It's not about just going out and getting the latest piece of technology and, hey, let's just strap it onto the website, or, hey, let's just do this and it's going to solve all your problems.
Right.
The problem solvers are the people that are punching in the morning. Those are the people that are doing it, right? So, yeah, absolutely. So what I like to do when I go in is, you begin with the end in mind. I call it reverse engineering, because one thing is for certain. We cannot solve the problems that we currently have right now to get out of, this inventory shortage, the microchip shortage, all of this stuff that's happening. We cannot solve the problems that we have at the same level of thinking that created them in the first place.
That's right.
Yep. That's
super important. So by focusing on the inputs, which is your people, process, and technology, by focusing on the inputs, The outputs take care of themselves.
100% they do.
The outputs are a byproduct of the inputs.
Yes,
100%.
yes. Mic drop. And I love that. And you're so on it, man. I love the passion, but he is dropping knowledge, folks. I know you're taking notes. You got to be listening, because these types of things are very important to understand when you're in a leadership position, when you're in a team group, when you're in a group with people and we're working together, understanding this culture that you have to have today. Culture is not what it was in the past. Culture has changed. Culture is different in automotive, and I love that, and I'm proud of that. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes in the future because of people like Shawn and so many others that you've been able to bless, like Johnny and many others. We even have Ariana. That's who that was that we said the Facebook user said it was great working with you in the BDC. Man, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like things like that. And here I'm gonna put her post up right there. Love Ariana. Ariana. She's amazing, man. She's got such a flair, but she's such a confident person and has so much to give. We need more people like her in automotive, but I can guarantee working with you in the BDC put that stamp in there. I know her husband, great car person. This person's trying to make a huge change. Another Canadian who is now in America right now, trying to make a change here with USA Motor Jobs. And I'm proud of that, man. What a great company. Shout out to them. Just really out there pushing the envelope, trying to make a change, trying to make it better for everyone, from trying to help us find better candidates to come into this business, people who actually maybe never would have seen this industry, but now can. But because of shows like ours, I hope that you see this. If you're thinking about getting this industry, do it. Your opportunities are huge, right? They're so huge. And we're talking about people a lot. And I love people, and I think it's a big deal. You have been able to mentor people like Johnny, I'm sure Ariana, and so many others, right? Who have been some great mentors for you, my friend? I'm sure you have a few to list, but who have been people who have influenced you along the way?
Oh, yeah, that list is pretty long. Listen, just because they're actually at the executive level, I won't name their names, but I have had 2 or 3 mentors that really helped me tremendously in my ascent to making me know, like, hey, look, son, you're doing this wrong, right? Like, yes, okay, you're making profits, your BDC is kicking butt right now, but look at your churn, look at your turnover ratio. It's not working. It's not a sustainable practice. So yeah, one of my mentors really, I had him for about 3 years, and he was one of the executive vice presidents for one of the largest dealer groups here in Canada. And he kind of really took to me, and he taught me just all kinds of lessons. It was like, you know, going to university and squishing it into 3 years. And but I have to say this to anybody, because I was a BDC agent. I emptied garbages for months, right? And I washed cars for like a year. It's not like I did it for 2 months and then, you know, I just went up. I really had to. I was in the gutter, you know, I was in the trenches just doing it. And yeah, of course I had bad days, but this is what I want to tell anybody that finds themselves in a similar position. First of all, you are necessary. 100%, you are necessary. But what people really need to understand is that where you currently find yourself is the opportunity. So I'll just drop a little bit of knowledge with regards to what can be done, because, you know, similarly, I had another, you know, BDC agent drop me the absolutely most amazing Google review on my website. And she was at the time a receptionist, and in, you know, she kind of coined herself just the receptionist. But you're never just you're a person. You're a human being capable of greatness, and it just requires managers / leaders to change their thought process and actually look into their ranks. Because Frederick, you were mentioning it before about, you know, like acquiring new people. But before we acquire new people, we were talking about foundation. Maybe we need to fix the foundation.
Amen.
In order to attract people to come and work for us, we need to make it sexy to work for us.
Come on.
That's the first thing, because look at what's happening right now. I mean, all the signs that we need are right in front of us. Look at what's happening right now. There's a technician shortage. There's a shortage of employees dealership wide. Why do you think that is? If we really, you know, if we really created cultures that were based on not just performance, but listen, I really want to help your family, and I really like, what are you not happy? How can I help you? How can I help you succeed? If we really looked at our onboarding process, I mean, listen, There was a study that was done last year. I believe it was by Cox Automotive. And they were saying in the United States, because it's important for me to understand what's going on in that sector if I'm going to do business in there, right? I didn't just kind of fly in and, hey, hi, everybody, I'm Shawn. I have to understand the culture. I have to understand how things move. That's why I'm everywhere. The national turnover average last year was 20%.
Wow.
When we look at the auto industry turnover last year was 46%.
That's
better than I thought it was you were going to say. But
wow.
That is an astounding difference than the national average. If you and adding our average in there. So think about that. We brought the average down.
Yeah.
So that's the craziest part about it. But I would almost think that even over the last forever, it's been similar. I think that we have a very high turn. It might even be worse, but I think it's crazy times, and it's just the way it is. And I shouldn't say that. That's the way it's the way it's been. And I think that it needs to change. And I think that it starts, like you said, with fixing your foundation, getting rid of all the cracks, balancing it back out, making sure that it's ready to be built on. A lot of people out there, and a lot of you dealers, a lot of you owners, GMs, you're trying to build something on a shaky grounds, on an unlevel playing field, where when you do that, when you're trying to build on a foundation that's cracking and falling apart, your home's just going to crack and fall apart. Right. And what happens is that you're going to do all this work, you're going to spend all this time, investments, and it's just going to crumble down like a house of cards. And that's the last thing that you want to happen. So you have to go back and fix that foundation, the people you have in there, making sure that it's correct, your processes are right, that you have what you need to be able to build on top of it. And once that's leveled out, it's magical. You can literally build something, and then, you know what, I could repair this, I could add on, you can make it a skyscraper if your foundation's correct. You can keep building and building and building, but if it's not, it will fall. Oh man, it's the worst thing in the world. You see older homes that do that. You see newer homes that do that. And that's real life. I'm talking literal sense of a home's foundation. But when we're talking the way we're talking right here, that's the same thing that works in life. That's whether your personal things that you do with your family, who you are, if the foundation isn't right, it will crumble. But we're talking about business in the automotive industry, and that's a problem. A lot of these dealerships are sitting on shaky ground right now.
It's only a problem because we make it a problem.
Amen.
Listen, it's very simple, man. You get what you repeat.
Hey, I love that.
You get what you repeat, right? So, but listen, not to be cynical, because there's some great general managers out there. Just
yes.
Oh, there's fantastic.
I love this industry. I really do.
Yes.
But it comes down to, listen, if you're a great manager and you don't feel that you have the emotional intelligence to lead your emotional people, then just get somebody that can.
Right. Hey, that's smart.
Right. Then just get somebody that can.
They're leading people through emotional decisions.
Correct.
You know what I mean? They got to be in check.
But they're basing it on numbers.
Right. And that's something that we would say that we get honestly, right? We can't necessarily have much control over what it is that we inherit,
right?
But just what we do with what we inherit, how we utilize it going forward. And I would say, listening to the number, let me jump out of the car industry, right? Let's look at it from a different vantage point and try to consider, what does it look like for this 40? Well, you said it's 47%, right? 46%. Okay.
Correct.
I believe the number is a bit bigger, maybe, right? But maybe we don't put the real number out there. But even inside of that, I also considered, the three of us, we stumbled our way into the industry, right? This wasn't something that we targeted. I can see where another industry might have a much lower rate of turn or turnover, because that's where people have targeted. They've studied to go there. They've tried to get there. They didn't fall their way into this. It wasn't an accident. And some of those that made it and made a career out of this business, hallelujah, so glad that they did. But I give this industry grace, because so many people did fall into it. And when saying we got it honestly, right, we only knew what it was we were taught, and usually it's just by the person that was taught whatever they were taught before. And the managers that became managers were great salespeople. That doesn't mean that they know how to lead people. What often was the case, I mean, consider and just think of this. Put yourself in this scenario, car guys, car gals, and all you solutionaries. Think of what it would be like if you went to a gym where the trainer for you is constantly telling you how awesome they are at getting incredible results, and they are magnificent. Look at how great they are. That's not a great trainer. That's not who you're going to follow. You're going to get nauseous by the time you're done listening to how great that person is at being great. But it's when they can unlock in you your ability to be great. That's when they start building you up. That's when they start getting you to go to the next level. When we're building people, our foundation is strong. When we're building on ourselves, you're going to find the cracks. You're going to find it. And if it's all, hey, be as great as me, otherwise y'all suck, that's not going to work. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not going to get anybody to go anywhere.
No, and that's why we talk about testimonies. Going back to earlier, you know, you have to know the good and the bad. You know, none of us are perfect. There's not a person in the world that is perfect. We all have room for improvement. We all have things that we're working on. I may hire somebody and learn a ton from that person about their work ethic. Maybe something they show me, a shortcut that's amazing, right? But it's important. You don't find that out unless you love your people. You don't find those types of things out unless you go out and reach for those people. Right. A lot of times people hire for less than they believe. They hire people because they believe they bring less value than themselves because they want to feel of value. Yes. I believe the complete opposite. You need to find people who fill the voids that you have. The weaknesses that you know you have, hire those people. Look for them, the ones that have all the strengths in that. That is how you grow. That is how you level up higher above you. I believe that. If I'm a B person in this, I'm looking for A+ people in that, right? You know, I have my A+ things. That's what I'll do. But they're going to do the A+ things that they do, and guess what? My business will grow. You know, and Scott Trainer says, and I love Scott for putting this on here. Scott. Yeah, obviously you guys know each other real well, both of y'all from above that line. But if dealers focused as much on people and culture as Shawn does, the industry would attract new talent that have never thought they would have gotten before. And he's so right. And that's important. And that's where we talked about that. You got to have a kick-ass place that people want to come work at. You want to have somewhere people go, that is sexy. How cool is that place, right? It's so different. But yet, look at what they're doing. They're still bringing a culture of growth to every dealer they deal with, or to people they deal with, and most importantly, to the people they work with, right? Because there's a lot of people influenced there. When you have the right people working there with the right foundation, that house will be built so amazingly that it'll shine. You'll have freaking lights going everywhere. It'll be like that house that shines on the block with the perfect lines in the grass, right? So I'm just telling you, it's all about that type of stuff, you know. And those are the lessons that we learn, right, Lou?
And it gets people hard. It gets it hard to get people to take their day off once they're inside of that type of a culture.
Yep.
They are so excited to go do their thing, be celebrated for doing their thing, and be part of a culture where there's a consistent celebration that they end up having FOMO of, right? I don't want to not be at work because it's awesome, it's fun, and it's great. That's the type of culture we're trying to create. And you all know what it's like when you're that excited to get up and go to work, when you're that excited to go do your thing and to perform at your peak. That's when you're most used and you feel most fulfilled.
When you love, we're talking about passion. When you love what you do, you don't have to be pushed. It pulls you.
Come on. Oh, man, it does. Pulls it out of you.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things, and I wanted to highlight this because you guys are just nailing it. So what do we do? Okay, now that we have all this surface level stuff, we're talking about leadership. And I mean, we've been talking about this through the entire pandemic. Everybody has all these great ideas and great. How do we start? Right? So one of the things that I focus on and what has worked for me, and I'm just literally giving this away for free because I mean, executing is something different.
But, Amen. No doubt.
We were talking about the framework. The first thing that I feel that we need to do moving forward, what do we do now moving forward with our teams, regardless if it's BDC, if it's sales, if it's service, regardless, what do I feel that we need to do? First things first, and I said this on a podcast, shout out to April Simmons. She actually got up and high-fived me, but we need more leaders and less managers.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. The decision-making process, in my opinion, needs to be more horizontal instead of vertical. Okay, because what's happening is everything is getting bottlenecked at the top. The decisions that need to be made are getting bottlenecked at the top from people that don't even have a vested interest in what we're doing. Yeah. Right? So what I mean is this. We should be far more concerned with our trajectory than with the results. To truly change something, when you change something at the results level, yeah, okay, fine. It's momentary. We had good months. We had bad months. But to truly, truly change something, this is in line with what we're talking about, to truly, truly change something. And I had this mindset a couple of years ago, to truly change something, you have to change it at the systems level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not very good in this industry. We could do a lot better by implementing systems. What I have seen, which is why nobody is just running back to get their old jobs. Like, where is everybody gone? if we're so good, where is everybody? How are we having a shortage? Right. So what I've seen is that when you create a system, you don't, what I do anyway in the BDCs is you shouldn't build the framework around a person. You should build a framework around a system and then go attract the right people and put them into that system so they succeed.
Come on.
How many times have we hired somebody and then after 2-3 months, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do this and you're going to do this and you're going to do this. Okay, but I'm not even qualified to do that. I don't even want to do that.
So truth.
Right? So to me, it's about building systems, and you manage the system, manage the data, and coach the people. You have it starts with the onboarding. If you ask me, our onboarding is completely upside down, and it starts with the onboarding. I mean, Johnny is watching, Ariana is there. I'm telling you right now, and I've been scolded by this for years when I was under the rooftop by my managers. My interviews were like an hour and a half. And during my interviews, like I wasn't asking, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't even know where I'm going to be in 5 years, especially in this business. So why are we even asking the question? Why are we even asking the question?
Right.
Why are we asking them specific questions to the specific requirements of what we need to accomplish, the execution?
Amen.
What books do you like to read? Why do you like to read those books? What do you like to do in your off time? Right? So when you're in the BDC, the funny thing about the BDC is that BDC is very much about exploring the unknown. And the core purpose, I'm going to say this loud and clear to all your listeners. The core purpose of a BDC is to provide a continuous flow of traffic to the service and sales department. It should do 4 things. It should allow for a consistent customer communication. It should improve customer communication. It should drive customer retention and ultimately improve CSI. Where in there did you hear me say it has to sell cars?
No.
Selling cars and the results and the revenue is a byproduct.
Amen.
Of those 4 things.
I agree with you so much. Oh, you have no idea.
I could even tell you the 4 reasons that a BDC fails.
Come on, tell them.
The 4 major reasons that a BDC fails, and please write in the comments if you think I'm wrong, right? But I've seen it. I've been going at this for 20 years. I'm 11 BDC builds in. So the 4 major reasons why a BDC fails, number 1 is when ownership is not behind it. It needs to be supported by the executive level.
Yep.
Number 2, when there's friction between departments. When the sales is saying, oh, I don't want my BDC to call these people, or the BDC are annoying my customers, or what have you. When there's friction between departments, the BDC will fail. The 3rd, when the BDC becomes what it is not. Now, what do I mean by that? Is that originally when you built your BDC, do you want it to answer leads? Is it a BDC service? Or is it structured to do outbound private sales calls? You can't just keep flipping the switch on these people that are programmed to answer leads. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to give you 2 days. Here's a list of 3,000 people to call for my private sale. Go. I want 80% show ratio. Are you kidding me? This 3,000 people, right? And then ultimately, the last one is when it's poorly managed, obviously, which is coaching, investing in your people. It's not a cost. You know, to go out and get myself a coach, or to go out and get guys like you that are trainers that are there to fire up the troops, were referred to as a cost. And I just don't understand how they don't think it's an investment.
Exactly.
It's beyond, it's so crazy because they think they could do it by themselves in a lot of cases. But the reason why they're calling is because they know that it's not working.
Correct.
But yet they're too proud. They carry too much pride on their shoulders. And I get it. Listen, dealers, you know, you guys do a great job. And I'm not trying to say that you guys don't know what you're doing. What I'm trying to say is that you do need help. The best of us don't do it by ourselves. The best of us have a team of people who help us get to the next level. Just like we said earlier, if you're B+ there, you need to find the A+ people. If you're definitely, I mean, I'm telling you, even if you're A, look for an A+ person. because what that does is it raises your game. You learn something new. Different perspectives will change the whole thing up. But you have to do that by looking for those people. Don't deny those people. There's a lot of people out there trying, like I said earlier, to deny the growth. They want people who they believe are going to fill in positions because they're not quite that level. You know, I've heard dealers literally say, man, they just seem like they're just too much. You know, like, I feel like they're too educated, or maybe they're going to want too much money. Well, they're going to earn their money. If those are those level people, it's not that they're going to want money. They're going to go in there and earn that. They're going to work hard for you. So don't be scared of people who are aggressive, who want to be owners when they themselves. That's who I'm looking for.
Come on.
I want entrepreneurs. I want people who are ready to grow. But you know what? I want people just to be real at the same time. If I'm talking to you and I'm interviewing you, I want to know where your real heart is. That's why I love the questions that you're talking about. What do you do in your free time? Because I'm going to tell you, those things are important because their free time is valuable to them, just like their job. There's a reason why they're at work, right? Yep. You know what I'm saying? Those things change though daily. The why, if I asked you your why, like our first question 10 years ago, would have been different than it is today. Right. We all change. We all have our purposes kind of shift sometimes, you know, and that's the beauty of life. And that's the beauty of love. We do have to learn lessons along the way. Right, Lou?
We do learn a lot of lessons
every day. Listen, it's every day. Personal growth is an ongoing, listen, it's you need to constantly disrupt their current thought process. What got us here is not going to get us there. Amen. Think about it. You know, for the last 5 years, okay, great. You know, we were, you know, we had the framework and this is what it was. Boom, a pandemic hits. Now we don't even know what's going to happen. I mean, look, there's big talk about EVs coming out right now. Everybody's scared about that. You know, there's like I said, the chip shortage. I think there's even talk of, I think Ford recently announced that they're going direct to consumer. Right. So what's that going to do for the salesperson? What's that going to do for the BDC sales? Right. So I know like Brian Benstock, David Long, they're just killing it on Clubhouse. You know, they're really standing up for the industry. And I know that they're bringing it hard, but you know, the two guys can't just do it alone. We need to all collectively come together and you know, make automotive great again.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly why we're uniting with incredible solutionaries like Shawn on the show today and making sure that we are cooking up a conversation that needs to be had. It's not going to be done. It's not going to be complete just because this show finds its way to an end. But this is a conversation that we want to provoke thought inside of the entire industry, especially those of you that are leaders. I don't want to discount anybody that's worked hard at their job and achieved a new rank inside of the industry. Yep. You earned it. You deserve it. Somebody believes in you to do great things at the next level. What I do want to make sure that we consistently challenge is, are you challenging yourself to learn them better every day? The ones that are following you, are you leading them to where it is that they want to go? Why are they in your particular command, if you will? Right. I take myself back to one of my first days inside of the bay or the bunkhouse for my unit when I first got into the military, and had the drill sergeant get right up in my face. Well, he was looking pretty far down, right? Looking down and say, Ramirez, why did you join my army? Right? Why did you join my army? Remember, his job, he is commissioned to make a soldier out of a street kid. Right? That's exactly what he is made to do, but he's there to adhere to the standards, make sure that they're taught and learned, not just taught, actually learned, right? And then make sure that you get those tools to achieve the mission that everybody has, but needs to know your why. All that I could say at the time, scared, didn't know what to really put out there, didn't think of my words too much. And all that I wanted to be was, drill sergeant, I want to be a father that my kids can be proud of. That's all that I said. That's all that I could let go. And then he went in barking other things to other people. But that was my why there. That was it. I just wanted to be somebody that my kids could be proud of. Each and every one of the people that are subordinate or following anybody that's a leader has a purpose, has a why. And if you can zero in on that, you can continue to provoke thought on that. You can get them to accomplish anything if you get them convinced that you care about what they care about. Mm-hmm. So in that, there is something that a lot of people do care about. Of course, if you pay attention to the news, it's always going to be the bad story behind everything. And we don't necessarily lean into it on that, but we do like to pull out the positive from problems in the past or whatever it is that we've learned. So, Shawn, I want to ask you real quick, inside of your career, building businesses, building BDCs, building up people, What has been your hardest lesson that you've learned so far?
Oof, that is a great question. First of all, the admittance of ignorance. I had a lot of work to do on myself, and I'm really on this emotional intelligence or this EQ trajectory. I really believe that IQ gets you the job, but EQ gets you promoted. So before in my ascent, from my transition, I should say, from going from manager to leader, there's a gap that needs to be done. And it's the first step is the admittance of ignorance. And I had to do a lot of work on myself. And I said, listen, Shawn, you're doing this wrong. You're ruling with the iron fist when, because I was in a position where it was like, look, if they can't do it exactly the way I want it to be done, you know what? I need this output. I need this result. So I'm just going to move them and say, forget it. I'll do it. So it was my inability at the beginning to develop people. So my hardest lesson was the release of power. And to say, listen, it's okay to trust people, but now, Shawn, you are required. Listen, there's a very game-like quality to life, right? And when I say something like that, I mean, like, there's different levels to this, right? And every level requires a new skill. And as you're going up levels, you need to unpack and unlearn some stuff that just doesn't serve you in order to be beneficial at the next level, whether it's me being a father because I have a beautiful son, or whether it's for the care of the people, in my care. So one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn was letting go. Letting go and trusting people, and more importantly, working with the people I don't get along with.
Come on.
You're not always going to get along with the people within the culture, but when it's a part of a system, when we're all working towards the same common goal, you got to shower them with kindness. And this is why I love you guys with that forgive, focus, fly thing. You have to forgive people. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the other person. This is why I love emotional intelligence so much, because it has nothing to do about the other person. It has everything to do with me. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So when I come in the morning, I don't know, like back in the day, and a sales manager would cut me a new one, and I would walk out, as I was transitioning, I was like, well, look, maybe he had a bad day. Or maybe she was, because managers could be women as well. Obviously, they're fully qualified. So maybe she had an argument with her husband, or maybe somebody's sick, or maybe they had a really bad night, or maybe there's so get rid of your ego. Check your ego at the door. Check your ego at the door. And instead of getting mad at somebody, ask them, hey, listen, are you okay? Like, can I help you? Can I take you out to lunch? Do you want to talk about it? So one of the hardest lessons that I had to make was really to just change my mindset. You really have to change your mindset and apply, emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence ultimately is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage my own emotions first. And by making myself a better person, I immediately make the people around me better, which is why, like, look at when I went to NADA, like what you were saying, Fred, and what you were saying, Lou, I was just smiling. I was happy. I mean, how many people this morning, everybody watching this show, how many people this morning didn't wake up?
Yep.
Statistically, 1 million people in the world die overnight. Well, hey, guess what? I wasn't one of them. So I have an obligation to put my best foot forward, smile, and just be kind to people.
That's gratitude. Right. You woke up today. You made it through yesterday. You still have a roof over your head. Even in the worst, even if you lost your job, even if those things happen, guess what? Look around.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot worse. People didn't wake up. People who don't have roofs over their head. People who are living on the streets. Just go downtown any big city. I'm just telling you. And tell me that you don't have gratitude. Tell me you have food. Yep. I know if you're watching this, you have internet, you have a phone, you have something. That's more than most people. I'm just telling you right now.
And Fred, it's really that silly. It's really that silly. But
it can. And you know what? And if that's what you have to find find gratitude and happiness, look to that. But I'm going to tell you, there's so much more inside your life. You have so much more to even have gratitude. We have 2 eyes. I have 2 hands. I got 10 fingers, right? Yep. I can just be, but at the same time, you're loved. You're loved. Man, I'm telling you, all you
Loved
guys,
by me,
everyone
you're
out
loved
there,
by Fred, and you're loved by Lou. So that's three
right.
people
That's
right there
right.
that love you.
Boom, the
Ready to get started.
triple team right there,
That's
you know, and we do love that, man. You know, and that's what just makes it so beautiful is when you can find that, when you can find the, you know, the grace inside yourself to give other people's grace and understand that it's okay to mess up. And you're, in matter of fact, and I loved it, you said it earlier, you've messed up more and you messed up probably today, right? But that's how we learn. You know why you messed up? You might tripped up because you're trying.
Come on.
Correct.
Not because you're laying back, not doing anything. It's because you're actually trying.
Yep.
Right. And when you try, you're going to stumble. When you try, you're going to have little humps that you have to get over. But that's okay. When you get over that hump, after you get up from that stumble and you realize, oh, that wasn't bad, I could do that again. You're going to do it again and again and again. But guess what? You're going to learn something every single time and it's going to get easier. You're going to get better at it. And then the testimonies to be able to share that to others, your next generation, your team members, your family members, letting them know it's going to be okay. And they'll trust that because they see it through you. But if you don't share those things and if you don't realize those things and find gratitude in those things, when you mess up and a failure happens, have gratitude. It's just like that whole don't be a sore loser, right? It sucks to lose. I'll cry sometimes, but I remember being that way. But at the end of the day, I learned something from it. And I'm happy for the people who did win because they're not feeling how I'm feeling right now, right? I feel great for them. And I know it's crazy to say, but I do. But at the same time, I find peace inside that, knowing that I have another chance. And guess what? I have tomorrow. I have all those things. But those are not guaranteed, right?
I was just
for today, go after it, my friends. Go after it. Right. So speaking of that, man, you know, we've talked about your why. We've talked about what got you in this industry. We're so blessed to have you in it. You know, we've talked about, I'm so glad the fashion industry didn't work out for you. You know, but you can bring it to this business. Hey, we're all young, man. I know we're in our 40s, but that doesn't mean nothing anymore. We all have opportunity. 40 is the new freaking 20, and I'm not playing about that. That being said, we talked about your mentors and the people along the way. We talked about failures and learning from those things and the greatest lessons learned. But let's talk about something that's amazing. What's been your greatest reward for everything that you've done up to this point?
Life.
Amen.
Life, period. Life. The ability to have an absolutely great son. You know what? What has been the greatest thing? All my hardships. My hardships has made me who I am. The hardships in my life, instead of crying over spilt milk, you know, the same boiling water, you know, that hardens the egg, softens the potato, right? So it really depends on your perception of life. I mean, growing up, I wouldn't have had this work ethic if I didn't see, you know, my mom going through what she went through, right? So it's about not being a victim, you know, be present. I mean, think about it. In our lives, we're the director, we're the producer, we're the writer, we're the star of our own movie, right? And I'm really heavy right now at the current time. I'm on this Jordan Peterson on train, and right now, he said it amazing. Like the funniest thing or the most interesting about life is that you're all in. You're all in.
You're here. Yep.
You're here. This ends, and you know what? The coolest thing: there's no two of us in 6 billion people.
Nope.
Right. So that's what I mean by I'm just happy to be alive and I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to inspire people. I'm absolutely unapologetic. I am bold. I'm intrigued by life. I will continue doing what I'm doing. It's making me meet you. I'm not for everybody, but that's okay because there's an off switch. Just turn it off, right? It's just that simple. But I've definitely inspired a lot more people. I've definitely inspired a lot more people than you know, people that have sent me hate mail, which I haven't really gotten a lot of. But I'm really blessed to have a child. I'm really blessed to be in the position that I'm in. I'm really blessed to have people like Johnny, Ariana, Dania, Sam. I mean, Savannah, everybody that I've been coaching. I went to Trinidad. I met some amazing people. I don't know if you guys followed me, but eating breakfast wasn't even just eating breakfast. I acknowledged absolutely everybody that was working so hard. Shout out to Shawn in Trinidad right now at the Hilton. I mean, that entire team. So attitude of gratitude. You got to bring this energy. You got to bring this greatness with you every step of the way. There is 86,400 seconds in a day, and I'm not going to waste any of them.
Come on.
Amen, amen. And I believe that, man, because here's the deal, folks, and I want you guys to realize this. When you're sitting there in your last moments, you're not going to regret the things you did. You're going to regret the things you didn't do. All those moments that you just let waste and fall through your fingers, all that sand going through that hourglass that you just let fall instead of using it for something. Go out there and be something. Today is the only day that you're guaranteed this moment. So go after it. You know what it's about. Tomorrow you may not wake up. So go after it today. Let everyone know how much you love. Scream from the rooftops. Scream it. It's okay. Scream it. And if you need some love, you can reach out to any of us, right? 321 Fred Lou. That's how you get a hold of us too. How do they get a hold of you, Shawn? What's the best way to reach out to you if they want some love or if they want to learn more about your company?
Thank you so much. Hit up my website, bdcalchemy.com. My email is thebdcalchemist@gmail.com. All my information is there. I am super heavy active on LinkedIn. You can DM me. I'll answer you right away if I'm not obviously doing something else. But I mean, it's within the hour, within 2 hours. I answer absolutely everybody. It's respect, right? It's respect.
It is. That's honor. And there's so much that you've provoked inside of your thought, inside of your heartbeat. I absolutely love your wordplay, brother. I love the way that you deliver your message and how deep you dig into making sure that there is an adjustment, because a lot of times it is just a couple of words said a little differently with a slightly different mindset, maybe even a little bit slower, so that you can digest what was just said, right? In order for you to then say, hold on, maybe I do need to think a little different. Maybe I am getting the results that I'm getting because I am thinking the same way that is creating the same problem. Help me. That's why it's important that we have the mentors, because if a mentor loves you properly, they're going to tell you, knowing that you're not going to leave their world because it was a piercing or maybe even a scathing truth that you had to digest, right? Same thing with anybody that's leading anybody. Sometimes we have hard conversations and we have to have tough talks, but the way that we use our words in empathy, in actually caring and compassion for people will help us to turn our service on to people. When we have somebody to follow us, we have a service to deliver to people. And in that, because we have an incredible BDC trainer, we have to make sure that we do shout out our incredible team over at Dealership Toolkit for who is turning service on. So right before we finish up this 5-liner with you, we will be right back after this message from Dealership Toolkit.
An average automotive service department talks to 1 in every 5 service customers without placing them on hold. 40% of inbound calls from service customers go to voicemail or don't get answered at all. You know a successful service department can make or break a dealership's bottom line. Dealership Toolkit has trained industry experts that answer your service customers' calls, schedule their appointment using your service scheduler, and confirm the appointments. How many times have you heard complaints from your customers about long hold times or no callbacks? Or from your service advisors about double bookings? Turn service on with Dealership Toolkit and eliminate problems like staffing, training, and employees who call out sick. With Service On, the Dealership Toolkit team handles your inbound calls without worrying about PTO, sick time, or vacation conflicts. Plus, we have agents trained to your OEM process. Outbound calls? We do that too. We follow up on declined service, recalls, overdue, or lost service, CSI surveys, and defectors who choose independent repair shops. We customize all scripts and communication processes to your dealership. Setup is as easy as 1, 2, 3. We customize your scripts, connect your data, log in, and then go live. Plus, you get ongoing communication and performance meetings to keep us all on point. Inbound calls, on. Outbound calls, on. Appointments, on. Reporting, on. Service, on. Schedule your demo with Dealership Toolkit today.
Also get more information by just dialing 321 Fred Lou.
Absolutely.
We are so excited.
Man, what a great show this was today. I want to leave you guys with just a quick point and something that he said at the beginning of the show, and something that I think we all need to just really let resonate with us today. And I'm going to put it up here real quick. Doing just enough is not enough.
Love it.
So make sure you guys understand that. Go after it. Today is the day. Smile, love, and grow. Man, last words from you, Shawn, before we get out of here?
Show up. Show up. Just show up.
Oh, man, I love that. Brother, I'm going to tell you one last thing before we also get out of here. I got to let you guys know that Shawn Armorer is 100% CGC approved, my man. Appreciate you again. Folks, You guys know the deal.
Yeah.
What a great show this today was, man. Shawn, thank you for being here. You definitely are an armorer of love, man, and armor of forwardness. Let's go.
That's right.
Thank you so much, guys.
Car Gals, we want to finish this off right. Shawn, help us out as we forget, focus, and fly, and head on out of here on 3. 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus. Fly. And keep growing. Keep growing. Car Guys, Car Gals, and Solutionaries all around the world. I am Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
And I'm Frelin Arts, the subprime hero.
And we've been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast with a whole lot of extra shots of hype, knowledge, and wisdom from the one, the only Shawn Armorer. Salute. We appreciate you, brother. Have an incredible day, everybody. Keep growing, keep growing, keep growing, and turn your service on.
That's
we
right.
out.